And Steele, even said it, he didn't believe his own report and he couldn't verify it. But as I look at pages 186 to 190, I find here, when you get to warrants 2, 3, and 4, what do we know that's different here?
Well, so what you can argue, if you would like, that there was a legal predicate to start the investigation. It doesn't really matter to me. What I'm here to tell you and the American people, if it started legitimate, it became criminal pretty quick. Here's what I'm going to say to Horowitz. Do you agree with me that in January 2017, after the subsource told the FBI and the Department of Justice everything in the dossier is a bunch of BS, that's when it became a criminal conspiracy to defraud the FISA court? Instead of telling the court that the primary subsource disavows the dossier, they told the court they were truthful and credible. At that point in time, people at the Department of Justice and the FBI defrauded the FISA court, trampled on the constitutional rights of Carter Page, and continued a surveillance of a duly elected president unlawfully. It became as if J. Edgar Hoover came from the grave and took over the investigation in January 2017. It became a criminal conspiracy. I want to know, did Comey know? Did McCabe know? What did they know and when did they know it? And I want to know, did the Mueller team know about this?
I want to know all that, too. But what we have, the Grassley-Graham memo, let's go back to it. I quoted it off. Right. The bulk of information to obtain the FISA warrant was the dirty Clinton bought and paid for. Now we know, because he even said it, I have no idea if any of it's true. Now the subsource is saying, I didn't expect this guy to ever use this in a report. I don't know if any of it's true. And they never verified it. But Comey signed his name 3 times to it. Now, why do I believe, and they hid the fact that Hillary paid for it. Let's just hide that fact when it should be front and center, dead on. Hey, Judge, look at this. Now we know without the dirty dossier, they don't get the FISA warrant, do they, Lindsey Graham?
Right. So here's what I want every Democrat and Republican to come together on, that it is wrong for the FBI not to tell a court exculpatory information. That once the FBI was told by the primary subsource that all this stuff I gave Steele, I never meant it to go into report. It's a bunch of hearsay, gossip, and bar talk. It's not reliable. I hope every American would agree that the proper thing for the FBI to do is to inform the court of exculpatory information. The wrong thing to do is lie to the court about what the subsource told you. And I hope every American would agree that from there on forward, that this thing becomes very dangerous to democracy.
You know, Senator, so you're going to have Horowitz in on Wednesday.
Yes.
It's interesting that what Barr and Durham are saying is that his purview was limited. He was only sort of in a bubble, the way I interpret it. And the bubble was to investigate within the DOJ and the FBI. They're not restricted in such fashion. Their investigation has taken them far and wide into foreign countries. And clearly, they must have discovered some very significant findings for them to both say as adamantly as they did today that you're not right on the conclusion here. We know they knew.
Yeah, that really did stun me, quite frankly, Sean, that Durham would come out and take issue with that. But I'm going to assume for a moment there may have been a lawful predicate, but I hope everybody will agree it quickly turned into a criminal, sinister conspiracy to defraud the FISA court and to unlawfully surveil Carter Page. I hope he sues them. And one thing I want to announce tonight, I want Jim Comey to come to the Judiciary Committee in the Senate.
Whoa, slow down. I want him to come to my show first. I'm offering him 4 on-air hours.
Okay,
an hour here tomorrow night and 3 hours on my radio show.
I doubt if he'll take you up on it, but I hope he does. But here's why it's important. The former head of the FBI says this report vindicated the FBI and him. I missed that.
Yeah.
Now, please, I mean, don't say things like that.
Last question.
Unless you can back it up.
Senator, if I committed fraud on a court, you're a good lawyer, smart guy. You think you could prevent me from going to jail?
The 5 people who heard the subsource disavow the dossier need to be investigated criminally. And I want to know who they told, if anybody, about what they found. Why didn't they tell the court about the exculpatory interview? Why did they lie to the court? Those 5 people need to be looked at in terms of a criminal conspiracy by the Department of Justice and the FBI to defraud the FISA court. And if the court doesn't do something about all this bad behavior, the question is, should they stay in business?
You know what? Where are you, Chief Justice? The Chief Justice, he appoints these people. Where are the judges? Why have we not heard from those judges that were lied to? I want to hear from them.
Well, until today, I don't think there was any report that conclude they were lied to, but today there's no doubt. You know, whatever you think about Horowitz, I think he's a great man. I think he's a good American, and I think he laid out a damning report. I told you it was on a scale of 10.
Within the constraints that he had.
Yeah,
all right.
But you asked me how bad is it? I said 8. It's really 10. What happened here? This is what J. Edgar Hoover used to do. They used to make stuff up. They used to lie to people to get what they wanted. And here's the question: why didn't they tell the court about the exculpatory information? Because it would stop the investigation. Why did they not want to stop the investigation? Because they hate Donald Trump's guts, and any other conclusion is pretty ridiculous.
Senator, great job. You were dead on accurate and you took a lot of heat for it. We appreciate it. Now, Horowitz report finds at least 17 significant errors and omissions in Carter Page's FISA application.